Welcome back everyone to another Flyball and Friends. Today, you know what? I'm going to just try and talk to the camera instead of reading off a script, so we'll see how that goes. So, as you guys know that I'm trying to grow this channel, so I need you guys to hit that subscribe button. Now hopefully once it grows big enough, we can give some giveaways, we can do anything like that, and hopefully get some new people in this sport. Today, we also have a guest that probably doesn't need an introduction. He is quite a big judge out there and has been quite a few places. So without any further introduction on my part, let's get right to it with Randy Kenzie. Thanks, Randy, so much for being here. I'm glad you could take time out of your day. If you could tell us a little bit about yourself.
I've been involved in the sport for about 22 years now. I started just helping out the team before I run a dog. Never run a dog for a lot of years, just helped out. And just basically box loaded for the team, and then I decided to become a judge and threw everybody off, and that took off 20 years ago. So I've been judging for years. So it's been a fun ride. Met a lot of people, a lot of great people, had a lot of great time. Done a lot of traveling. So it's like
that's cool.
Opened early in my career, and that opened a lot of doors there. So.
Awesome. So what team do you guys play on?
Up until recently, we played dogwood pace setters. We've just changed now to run free. Just in the process, they're out right now. So we're just with good friends of ours we've traveled with. We travel with them, and they all have motorhomes and trailers, and just natural occurrence how things happen. So
for sure. How many dogs do you have, Randy?
At this time, we have two: one running and one in training. So
what's the in training one?
We have a little 11-month-old border collie and a 5-year-old Australian shepherd.
Awesome. And then what do you do for a living?
I'm retired now, so
Ooh.
I did 30 and a half years with a telephone company out here in TELUS. So
awesome.
I started a year ago, and it's great. More time flyball makes it a whole lot easier, flying for tournaments and stuff like that, so.
For sure.
Yeah, makes a whole lot easier flying Friday, judge Saturday and Sunday, and then fly home Monday. Life's much easier now.
That's awesome. All right, so what got you playing flyball?
Like I said, my wife played for a few years before I got into it, and I went over to a tournament just to go for the weekend. Our kids were very young; they stayed with their parents, and they didn't have a box loader. So I said, "Yeah, okay." I was just going to go over to chill out and get away for the weekend. For us, it was just over to Vancouver Island and just someplace to go for the weekend. And they needed a box loader. I started box loading, had fun, and then I started. And of course, they were happy because they had a dedicated box loader and that was for probably about 2.5 years. And I got tired of lifting the box over the backboard. And there wasn't a whole lot of judges out here at this time, so I started looking at it, and then just went through for training as a judge and became a judge. So
awesome. And what got you actually racing a dog then?
About 3 years after that, just going to tournaments where I wasn't judging and my wife couldn't run the dog, or for whatever reason, just started running dog periodically. A couple times it was people didn't have a handler, and or the handler wasn't there or sick or whatever, and ran a couple of dogs, and one thing led to another, and then I got my own dog finally.
That's awesome. So do you still race today?
Yeah, most of the time I judge probably 75% of the time, and maybe 20% of the time I run a dog. So
Whoa.
My wife dog when I'm not in the ring, so which not very often. So
awesome. Okay, so now when you first started, was there a dog out there that gave you that kind of wow factor that you just loved watching?
Being a little bit prejudiced, it was our own border collie. We had this really erotic border collie, and he was among his issues, he was very cool to watch. It was a just totally different dog when he was a working dog as opposed to the crazy border collie. But the working aspect of it, my wife did some search work and stuff like that, and some agility with the dog. And this was another side of the dog I never saw. So it was really cool to see that side. It made it really interesting. So.
Awesome. Now, how often do you guys practice?
At least once a week. The club we're doing now usually does twice a week once they get sort of back out of this scenario as a break. So they do about twice a week, yeah. And like physical practicing, and then whatever you do at home or whatever else from there. So
for sure. Okay, so how often do you think you go to tournaments?
We do locally about 8 tournaments locally, and we're BC, Washington, Oregon here. So that's all the 2 states in the province here. And then I travel anything up to 15 tournaments between home and local, between playing and judging a year. That's sort of normal for me.
Cool. What's the farthest you've been for flyball?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Wow, that's a far trip.
Yeah, that was, I got an invite down to go to a tournament down there. That was pretty cool to be able to go down there. So that's, I actually just did, in January, I did my 250th tournament between the 2 organizations
Wow.
Of judging. So, and that's weekends, not tournaments, but weekends. And that's been, like BC, Washington, all up and down the West Coast, and right as far as Saskatchewan, Atlanta, Georgia, Tennessee, Texas, and a whole bunch more like that. So yeah, pretty fortunate. So.
Awesome. Good for you. So what would be probably one of the more important things you learned when you first started playing flyball?
The biggest thing, and it's still sort of a thing that I'd like to encourage, Nate, is have fun. Go out there, have fun with your dog. You can be competitive in any division, but have fun with your dog. I see so many people are so, worried about so many things. Just go out and have fun and have fun with the people you're going out with. It's a sport to have fun with your dog.
For sure. Yeah, and usually when you're having fun, the dogs seem to run at least a little bit better too.
Oh yeah. I get. Any judge you ever talk to that judges the sport, people that interact with their dog, you see it so well, and the response from the dog is great. Play with your dog. After it's run the dog, whether it's didn't do the job correctly or not, because it dropped the ball or missed a jump, go have fun with the dog, in between, because they're going to run for you way better. And we see it all the time. A lot of people don't interact with their dogs at all. They come back, they give them the ball, that's it. And, we see it time and time again how much more your dog responds to you when you play with your dog.
Very well put. Okay, now, with all the traveling that you've done, is there still a place that you would love to go, whether it's compete, train, or even just watch?
Alaska. I'd love to go up to Alaska and do, play or do one of their tournaments, because it's supposed to be very cool, just a totally different way. It is so laid back. We've got friends that have done locally from around our area that have gone up to the couple of Alaska tournaments, and they said it's just a totally different thing. Like, you race, and then 20 minutes later you race again. Like us, bang, 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 in and out of the ring, as you know. Up there, it's like, okay, it's time for the next race. So I guess it'd be cool to go see, and just
That's for sure.
Totally different, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay, now what exactly do you like about playing flyball?
It's the interaction with the competitiveness and being with other people and having fun, and just kids around with the other, if there's other judges. When I'm not judging, I always give the judge a hard time when I'm out there, just for fun. Have fun, and I like competitive. We like to play competitive, but also like to have a lot of fun doing it too. And that's what I like, is going. You asked me at the end of the day how many points I got. I couldn't ever tell you what I do. As long as I'm having fun with my dog, and we're trying hard, that's what, to me, that's what it's all about, like that. And the points are nice. Winning is nice, but it's not everything to me. So
for sure. Okay, now would there be a team out there, or maybe even just a person out there that you love racing against, or maybe even just a team that you love watching?
That was one of the questions that I can't say there's any one that stands out in there. I just like watching the racing when I get a chance to go out there and watch, and if they need help or whatever, and get in there and offer encouragement or ideas, or to help out people. I get a lot of times I'm outside the ring, I get judges questions whether I'm judging or not. Helping the people out and giving a suggestion, not when I'm necessarily judging, because that would be not cool to give them suggestions to win, but helping out if they're having issues that especially in safety and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Handling issues where they're, you might be having trouble with the dog. I figure that we got to make it safe for everybody. If I can help that out. But to your sort of question, no, I just look at it in general. Can't say there's anybody specifically. I just like watching good, competitive, hard running teams. When teams are on their A game, we're doesn't matter what division you're in. When they're on their A game, it's fun to watch.
For
When
sure.
when the dogs are handling, and obviously it's more in Division 1, 2, maybe 3 depending. But when the handlers and the dogs are clicking, it's neat, fun to watch as a competitor and a judge. You can see when they're clicking, it's fun because it's cool.
Excellent. Well put. Well put. All right. So now, what would be one of your earliest memories of flyball?
Probably some of the earliest things when I first started was the old dirt barns, and what today would be deplorable conditions. For years, how we ever raced in that, but I mean, there was never the speed involved and stuff like that. And speed becomes more. You have to be more safety conscious, obviously, things like that, ergonomics involved. But some of that first stuff, I look back now, going, oh my God, how do we ever survive some of this stuff, the dust and the dirt, people slipping, sliding, and the dogs sliding, and but there wasn't the speed and stuff like that either. So those, I still look back at those when I started 22 years ago, 23 years ago. It was, oh my God, we survived all this, Like I was still, we still, some of the old people that you run into, do you remember this or do you remember that tournament? It's pretty fun to think back where we are now and compared to, especially when you talk to people who've been away, say 4 or 5 years, and somebody invites them out and they come out and they look at it going, oh yeah, look at that. And you go, no, that's a Division 4 team, and when that might've been Division 1 or 2, and they're just, holy man, it changes. Yeah, it's a big change. So
is there anything that you miss from the old days?
No, nothing that's outstanding anyways. The better conditions, racing on mats, without dirt and sneezing, all that stuff. The racing on mats is way more fun. It's a lot more competitive. And for dogs, it's way more ergonomic too for them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's so missing the old days, probably not,
Fair enough.
Nothing is outstanding anyway.
Excellent. Okay, so do you have a favorite memory of flyball, whether it's on or off the racing lanes?
Favorite memory. That I can't. That was one of the ones I just couldn't put. Not for lack of not thinking of something that twigged right off the bat.
Yeah.
Just overall having a lot of fun with a lot of people in different places I've been. There's been a lot for me because, like I said, I've been very fortunate with doors open. I have a lot of great memories of being places. I've actually got documented, like in the one organization of world record running. I was there and documented it. Those are pretty great memories to be able to do that. Seeing those speeds and being able to sign off on that thing, and again being video checked and proven that it stands as a record. So I've had a couple, 3 of those, like more than a couple, 3. So those are pretty neat memories. So
that's cool.
Yeah. But,
okay, do you have any personal goals playing the sport?
Stay healthy, keep running, hopefully keep playing. The organization stays healthy. The organization as a whole stays healthy, that we can do this into the future. And traveling, we take our trailers, we travel with some people that we leave like Thursday nights and travel partway down. We're going into Washington or Oregon or something like that. We got 3 or 4 people we travel with that we meet at a given spot, and then Thursday night and drinks in the parking lot kind of thing of Walmart or wherever we're staying, and then travel the rest of the way on Friday, and those kind of things are a lot of fun weekends like that, and hopefully those will continue for a few more years. Yeah, so.
For sure. Okay, now when you first started, or maybe even now, do you look up to anyone as a mentor maybe in flyball?
A couple, 3 people that came to really mind was for me in flyball. One of the first persons that is Aaron Hughes. Used to be a judge in both organizations. He's now passed away, but he was one of the guys that I looked at when there was no real judge. We only had 2 here, and both of them worked all the time because they were smaller tournaments, but they worked all the time because there wasn't a whole lot of other judges. They were small. You couldn't afford to bring them in. And so he's sort of one of the first people I watched a lot and looked up to becoming a judge. So he was number 1. Second would be Steve McElroy, because he was one of the guys that when I first started judging, I was actually approved by when I first met him, but still, like, he was so easygoing to bring me under and say, hey, do this, this is some ideas for you. Big influence there, starting my judging career as well. And the third person is Katie Kaler. She was the one who opened a lot of doors for me, was a big thing once I became a judge. Knew her before that. And the other thing is with her was she's one of these people that challenged me to think on and off my feet, in and out of the ring, all the time. Even to this day, she still challenges me. What about this? Why did you do that? And I just learned me to think all the time. And the other thing is to stand up. I beg, this is my idea. I'm not backing down. And whether you agree with me or not, that's not your. You can make that decision. This is how I'm standing up. And one of those is to make a decision, stay there, and listen to those people and listen to their point of view. It doesn't necessarily mean you're right, and it might change your view on it, but she's always challenged me in all these years and continues. And if she says something, she doesn't back down, and I won't back down if I believe where I'm going with it too. But it makes both of us really good, and it's always, and she goes, well, it's like to bug you and, give you a hard time. I said, no, but it keeps me thinking all the time. There's nothing wrong with that,
For
As
sure.
a judge, really, really good. One of the things when I teach people is, listen to the people, and you might think you got it all figured out, and then somebody will throw a scenario at you and you go, well, I never thought of it that way. So then you can always reformulate and go from there, but listen to the people. So
Excellent. Okay, do you have any hobbies outside of flyball?
yeah, I have a woodworking shop, and I do carving at home. I have an old car I'm restoring. Try to get some fishing in, but that doesn't always get so much. And we do like to camp, but again, between the flyball schedule that we try to maintain, we don't get so much of that, but we do try and do that. But the camping, we take our trailer even to the local tournaments out here. And for a while, our local tournament was 20 minutes away, and we would park there all weekend for a couple of reasons. One, you got an RV, people, the whole bunch of us with RVs. So we'd sit around and have the fire pit and drinks and maybe barbecue. And of course, I don't see people during the day in the ring. I don't get to go schmooze and meet people. So my time to see people is after the racing. So that's a big thing, to be with good friends we met and over the years and stuff like that. So
For sure. Okay, would you have anything that you would recommend to someone starting out in flyball?
Yeah, I did have a few notes. Just my biggest thing is have fun. Listen to the people that are around you if you're new to it, and for training and ideas to find your way and formulate, what necessarily doesn't, what I tell you or your friends tell you may not work for you, but listen to them. You pick up one little thing out of 12 and, and put it together. Again, it's be competitive in any division that you're racing in. You can have just as much fun in Division 6 as you can in Division 1. It's up to you. Being a judge is one of the things that I always try to be aware of the people and the dogs you're around, that you're racing away, in and out of the ring. That's a big thing too, because I see people, they're having fun, but they forget what's around them and stuff like that. So just safety, is a big thing. So I try to be a lot on that. So that's one of the things I do like to see. And I try to hopefully, guide people to be safe around it, because things happen quickly in rings like that. And everybody's seen it, done it, been there, so.
Yeah, for sure. Well put, Randy. I like that. Now, for the fun question, is there someone that I could get you to challenge that's not on your team to do an interview with me?
Nancy Denier from Oregon.
Okay, I will see if I can get a hold of him and hopefully get him on the channel. But other than that, that's all I have for you. So thank you so much for being here. I'm glad that you could take time out of your day to be here with me. And hopefully at some point we'll see each other on the racing lanes again.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Randy. So glad that you could take time out of your day to be here. I know being retired is hard sometimes. Now, if you guys are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Or if you're just watching all these videos and still haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do so. Definitely like this video. I'm sure Randy would love to see a whole bunch of likes on here. And hopefully, if you guys need some more information on flyball, there's tons of stuff in the description below. So check all that stuff out and see where you're at and see if you can get onto a team. Until next time, guys, see you then.